Let's get into the latest luck rankings, which, as a reminder, use luck percentage, so actual versus expected score, to identify value in the marketplace. So, what are your results after week 15?
Yeah, we got a brand new number one in the NFL luck rankings after the state of Pennsylvania has gone 0-6 the last 3 weeks, with Philly and Pittsburgh both going 0-3 each of the last 3 weeks to fall out of the top two spots in the luck rankings. That means for the first time all year, someone other than Philly or Pittsburgh is number one, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Bengals have had 9 straight weeks of being in the top half of the weekly luck results rankings, right? So you talked about the bad beats. They would have been on the bottom half of the bad beats each of those last 9 games that they've played. Number two is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they took a loss there to the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 30-13, and they're actually a little lucky to lose by only 30-13. We had 33-11 as the expected score, which is why they leapfrogged the number 3 team, the Philadelphia Eagles. But real quick, number 1 and 2, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, do play each other this week. So a battle of number 1 versus number 2 in the luck rankings. But yeah, Philadelphia Eagles, number 3 in the luck rankings after that loss last night to the Seattle Seahawks, 20-17. But our expected score had that basically flipped. We had the Eagles winning 20-16.
It's a sore subject around here, and we're going to get into that a little bit more later in the show. But the luck finally starting to run out for Pittsburgh and Philly. Now, you mentioned Cincinnati and Pittsburgh playing this week, and using these latest findings, you've identified that game as a potential play. Tell us more.
Yeah, so instead of a side in this game, because obviously number 1 and number 2 in the luck rankings, there's not a whole lot of luck difference there between them. We're going to look at the luck total, and this is a luck over. So the luck total of plus 5.01 is 0.01 above our threshold of plus 5 or more. Luck totals of plus 5 or more after week 11 are 35, 18, and 1. That's 65.7% to the over. Luck overs are 5-1 to the over this year, but the only loss, that only one that didn't go over, ironic enough, was Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. These exact two teams facing each other in week 12. That was also a luck over, and it went under the total. Now, this total has dropped from 40 on Sunday afternoon all the way down to around 37 now. 82% of the money has come in on the under. I think we got to wait for this to push below that key number of 37. If it gets to 36.5, I think it's time to take the over there. We could see it because, like I said, 82% of the money coming in on the under. Very strong chance we see this dip to 36.5 before we hit that luck over. So we do have that. We have a couple luck unders, but you'll have to tune in tomorrow for happy hour as we'll talk about those.
Nice little teaser. And that's a good point. We're almost to that key number. So definitely keep an eye on that game and the total, and follow Nick Giffen in the Action app to be alerted if he decides to pull the trigger and bet on that. We talked about a total. What about a spread?
Yeah, this is another one where we're just going to kind of have to wait and see here, because the Falcons versus the Colts is a luck-based matchup. This has a luck difference of 24 and a luck gap of 24.6%. So not quite at our 30% threshold, but it does meet our 24 or more difference threshold, with Atlanta being number 30 in the luck rankings and the Colts being number 6. So of course, Atlanta, the unlucky team here. Unlucky teams in games with a luck difference of at least 24 are 56, 37, and 4, 60% against the spread over the last 6 years. However, that unlucky team is a home team, they're just 28, 24, and 2, which is 53.7% against the spread. So a little bit of a weaker signal here on Atlanta, but I would still like them. We'll talk about that in just a moment, why I would still like them potentially. The Colts are coming off of that win against Pittsburgh, as we mentioned, where they were maybe just a touch lucky, but still a big win. So the public's probably riding higher on the Colts than maybe they should be. And of course, Atlanta losing to the now 2-12 Carolina Panthers may skew the public perception against Atlanta. Our schedule adjusted expected scores have Atlanta as the better team at a neutral site. So The -1 line that this is at right now for Atlanta, it's pretty close to fair. Yesterday, Atlanta was the underdog. I'm very jealous of our own Chad Millman, who got Atlanta at +2.5 yesterday. But now they've crossed over to the favorites, and underdog crossing over to favorites is actually a losing bet long term. So you can't bet Atlanta as the favorite right now. Again, that -1 is kind of right in line with where we have it. But if it gets back to a pick 'em, or if Atlanta drifts back to an underdog, then I would certainly look to back the Atlanta Falcons.